We see celebrities on TV, in films, and on social media always smiling, but are they really that happy? Or is there a deep pain hidden behind that smile? Fame does not erase pain. In many cases, it makes it even deeper. Despite millions of applause, money, and success, some people are completely broken inside. If you or someone close to you is silently fighting a mental battle, remember, talking is not weakness, it is a necessity. Today, we will tell you the true stories of some of the world's biggest stars, who, despite fame, wealth, and success, struggled with depression, anxiety, and other mental illnesses. This video is gossip. These are stories of unspoken pain that are often hidden or ignored. Disclaimer: this video is created only for educational and awareness purposes. All information is based on public statements and interviews. The intention is not to judge or diagnose anyone. Princess Diana, the pain hidden behind the crown. First, we talk about Princess Diana, a woman loved by the entire world, yet one who felt like the loneliest woman alive. Princess Diana struggled with bulimia, depression, and deep emotional isolation. She once said, "Despite all the love from the world, I feel the most lonely." At just 19 years old, she married into the royal family. The constant effort to fit into the royal system slowly filled her with an unspoken exhaustion. The emotional connection and understanding she hoped for in her marriage never fully came. She began to feel that her life and emotions were slowly slipping out of her control. That is when bulimia entered her life. Later, Diana admitted that bulimia was not just an illness, became a coping mechanism for her. She said, "Bulimia gave me a strange sense of comfort. It was my hidden illness." During this period, she also endured deep depression and episodes of self-harm. What makes her story truly different is this: Princess Diana was one of the first royal and global icons to speak openly about mental illness. In a world where royal silence was tradition, speaking the truth meant inviting more trouble. Yet, despite fear, she chose not to stay silent. She gave voice to her pain, so others could understand that mental illness is not shame, it is a real struggle. Princess Diana's story is not just about a princess, it is the story of millions who quietly break behind a smile. Michael Jackson, a childhood stolen by fame. Michael Jackson's childhood was never normal. At an age when children play and dream, he was expected to be perfect. Harsh training, constant stage pressure, and alleged physical and emotional abuse by his father planted deep roots of fear and an insecurity within him. Fame made him a global superstar, took away his chance to simply be human. Constant media surveillance, rumors, suspicion, and accusations forced him to live in a never-ending battle to prove himself. This relentless mental pressure pushed him toward chronic anxiety, severe depression, and insomnia. Sleep became a luxury, one he increasingly depended on medication to achieve. The real world frightened him. To escape that fear, he created Neverland, a fantasy world of innocence, laughter, and the childhood that was taken from him. But the truth was painfully clear. Fame could protect his image, not his mind. Michael Jackson was not just a pop icon. He was a human being fighting trauma, pain, and loneliness. His story reminds us the sound of applause often drowns out the screams coming from within. Lady Gaga. Deep trauma behind the spotlight. Lady Gaga is not just a global pop icon. She is living proof of pain that often remains invisible under camera lights. Early in her career, she experienced sexual harassment and assault. This was not just incident. It was a trauma that shattered her mental and physical health. She struggled for years with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. She suffered terrifying flashbacks, episodes of dissociation, and sudden panic attacks that took her breath away. The trauma did not remain limited to her mind. Mental wounds turned into physical pain. She experienced chronic body pain with no clear medical explanation. Because the pain was rooted in trauma, her depression was so deep that even getting out of bed felt impossible. Daily life, work, and relationships were crushed under the weight of mental suffering. Lady Gaga has said, "Trauma never goes away. You carry it for life. You just learn how to live with it." Her story teaches us that the impact of sexual abuse is not momentary. It can affect a person's identity, self-worth, and mental peace for years. Today, Lady Gaga's voice is not just music. It is the voice of millions, silently battling PTSD, anxiety, and depression. Robin Williams, The man who made the
Robin
world
Williams
laugh made the entire world laugh. His comedy brought smiles even on people's hardest days. But when the cameras turned off, he was alone with his pain. He battled clinical depression for years, a kind of depression that is invisible, yet deeply destructive. There was constant pressure to always be funny. People expected him to make them laugh, as if his own sadness had no place. In the final phase of his life, he was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, a severe neurological condition that affects thinking, emotions, and perception of reality. This illness intensified his fear, confusion, and anxiety. People assumed laughter means happiness. The truth was far more painful. Sometimes a smile is just a mask to hide how exhausted someone is inside. Robin Williams' story reminds us that those who make others laugh the most often suffer the most in silence. Mental health is invisible, but its impact is profound. Britney Spears' fame, control, and was not just a pop star. She became one of the most controlled celebrities in the world. Constant paparazzi harassment and a life lived under cameras turned her into a spectacle, not a human being. After becoming a mother, she experienced postpartum depression, but instead of support, her pain was ignored. Her mental breakdown in 2007 became global entertainment, when in reality it was a silent cry for help. Later, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a serious condition affecting mood, thinking, and decision-making. In the name of treatment, conservatorship controlled her life for 13 years. Her money, career, body, and decisions were placed in others' hands. Britney said, "They took my voice, my freedom, and my choices away from me." The most painful truth was this: her illness was mocked instead of understood. Memes, jokes, and headlines followed, but very few people asked how she was truly feeling inside. Her story teaches us that fame protect you. Sometimes it strips you of your humanity. Mental illness is not entertainment. It demands empathy and treatment, not ridicule. Elton John, drowning behind the spotlight. Elton John's life looked glamorous from the outside. Hit songs, stage lights, endless applause. But Victor was a man constantly battling emotional pain. To numb that pain, he turned to substance abuse, which slowly became addiction. Despite immense success, he lived with deep loneliness and confusion about identity, self-acceptance, and relationships. Depression and addiction pushed him to self-destruction, where even music could not save him. That is where his story changes. Rehab, therapy, and facing the truth came acts of courage, not defeat. Elton John said, "Asking for help is what saved my life." His story teaches us that seeking help is not weakness. It is the strongest act of survival. Recovery is possible. Honesty, support, and treatment matter. Demi Lovato, breaking under perfection, choosing herself. Demi Lovato grew up under the pressure to look perfect. Cameras, comparisons, and constant judgment slowly destroyed her self-esteem. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a condition causing extreme emotional highs and lows. From her teenage years, she struggled with an eating disorder. Food became a battle of fear, guilt, and control. To escape the pain, she turned to substance abuse, which later addiction. She experienced multiple relapses, and a near-fatal overdose brought her dangerously close to death. But her story end there. Demi speaks openly and fearlessly about struggles, even if it shatters her perfect image. She says, recovery is not a straight line. Her voice represents millions who fall, rise, fall again, and still refuse to give up. Selena Gomez, choosing health over fame. Selena Gomez was at the peak of her career, yet she did what few dare to do. She stepped away. She struggled with severe anxiety and depression, and later revealed a bipolar disorder diagnosis. Her mind exhausted, and maintaining a smile became impossible. At the same time, she battled lupus, a serious autoimmune disease that affected both her and mind. Pain, treatment, uncertainty, everything came together at once. Instead of choosing headlines, she chose her health. It was not easy, but it was necessary. She said, before returning to the world, I needed to understand my mind. Heath Ledger did not just play his characters. With each role, he lost sleep and sometimes himself. He suffered from chronic insomnia. His mind could never fully switch off. Constant thoughts, anxiety, and exhaustion. Sleep, not relief. It was struggle. To cope, he became dependent on multiple sleeping medications, dependence that can turn dangerous without intention. His death was tragic. Heath Ledger died from an accidental overdose, not suicide, but a failed attempt to find sleep and relief. His story teaches us that mental exhaustion can be just as dangerous as physical illness. Kanye West has openly about living with bipolar disorder, a truth many hide out of fear. He described intense manic episodes where thoughts raced, ideas overflowed, confidence soared, and creativity peaked. But every high was followed by a devastating crash. Emotional emptiness, exhaustion, and deep depression. For a long time, he struggled with taking medication due to side effects and fear that treatment would dull his creativity. Kanye said, "I hate bipolar. It's awful." His story shows that untreated mental illness can slowly damage relationships, careers, and personal identity. This is not drama, not a creative personality. It is a real illness that needs understanding, treatment, and support. Fame does not protect mental health. Pain does not discriminate between rich and poor, famous, unknown. Mental illness looks different in everyone. Some smile, stay silent. Some appear completely normal, while a battle rages inside. Silence makes pain worse. Talking, listening, and understanding are not weakness. They are the first steps toward healing. Treatment, support, and compassion save lives. This channel aims to bring forward the stories and mental struggles hidden behind fame, smiles, and cameras. If you want to see and understand more such real stories and help spread mental health awareness, please can subscribe to this channel. Share this video with as many people as possible, because this is not just a video, it is a conversation, it is understanding, it is awareness.